What I'm gonna talk about today, is knowing thyself, and as it pertains to to your life and developing your own business. Now, here I am. See, I have to multitask everything that I do because there's so much that has to be done, just like all of us. But the reality of it is when you know yourself. When you know yourself the way God intended for you, He created you to, you operate differently. You're able to actually operate at a higher level and get more done that's productive. Okay? What I've done is I've done a level of certain assessments on myself. You know what I'm saying? To discover who I am. About myself. We think we know who we are, but the reality of it is how many people in here have taken an assessment for your jobs? Okay, so everybody's taking an assessment for their job. Okay, when you said what? Yeah. And so, wherever job you go to, you have another assessment you got to take. But here's the question, how have you ever taken an assessment for yourself? I'm talking about a scientific assessment. Went online and said, I'm gonna bring up a Myers-Briggs, personality assessment and do one on myself so I can see. Here's the reality. We are operating in situations and systems where they know more about you than you know about you. True. And we now have the technology in our hands to where we can assess ourselves. So when we're taking assessments for employment or what have you, they're assessing us before we get we don't even get an interview, we don't get a call back. Or, I have to take another assessment or another assessment or another assessment. I don't understand what's happening. Here's the reality. These assessments, the science has been done for hundreds of years. The science is pretty good. These assessments will tell you a whole lot about you. And one thing that God has really shown me over the years is, don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you will prove that good and acceptable will of God. How do you do that? I'm gonna be real. Let's be honest. How often do you struggle? Why do I do that? Why do I do this? How do I get out of my own way? How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, the reality of it is we've been conditioned our whole entire life. No matter how old you are, you've been conditioned your whole entire life to not think for yourself, to not think the way that God created for you to think. That 2-3-year-old you, when Kelly talks about her 4-year-old granddaughter, see, at 4 years old, she is purely her. She is purely her. But we are in a world that's trying to get that her out of there. The world they don't want that her. They want that, female that be submissive and to do whatever.
Yeah.
They don't want that little girl, that just, just love to see her smile, that's just, full of attitude, that's full of love. They want to get that out of there because that's how we're controlled. Yeah. The reality of it is we're in a new day. One of the reasons why we're going through what we're going through is because now we know that we have access to information. We have access to knowledge that we did not have. We've never had this much access to information in the history of man. We've never had that, when we look at a 4-year-old, she knows more at 4 than most people know at 50. Real conversation. She knows that she knows it. She don't just know it, she knows that she knows it. And so the reality of it is just take yourself back to when you was 4. I guarantee you, wherever you are right now, and if you start to come out of your shell, you're probably getting back to whoever you were, but the reality of it is you are not that 4-year-old that was there. Give you a little background about me. I've discovered in my assessments, in the past year, I've discovered I have a learning disorder. Nonverbal learning disorder is what it's called. NVLD. When I learned about this, I was 46, and it was very impactful. It hit me pretty hard, because I started replaying in my whole entire life. What this means is I'm a left brain individual strongly. My right brain does not function, like normal right side, the brains. And so, certain things that I struggle with, my balance, certain, math and reading comprehension I struggle with. Just certain things that I struggle with. I take things literally. If you say whatever you say to me, I take that literally. Ain't no vagueness to me. If you say, blue, I hear blue. Period. I'm going with blue. Not if you say blue, you give me the wink like you really meant red. I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? You should have said red if you meant red and you said blue. But for 46 years I learned how to cope. I learned how to cope. So I have a lot of coping mechanisms. So when I learned about this disorder, I'm like, I had to learn how to cope when I should not have had to, because I have a clinical disorder that people would take advantage of, and they didn't know they were taking advantage of me, but they were taking advantage of me, and I didn't know, they didn't know, and everybody would look at me like, why is he not getting it? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Why does he talk so much? Why does he do this? Why does he do that? Because one of the other things that this disorder, displays is an exorbitant high level of talk. You talk a lot. You're able to verbally, discern intellectually things on a high level, more than the average person. And so this is something I learned about me at 46. And so it gave me a really rounded idea, because for the past 4.5 years since God broke through by the word into me, I've been on this journey. That's been, really changing me as a person, as a man, as a follower of God, with a passion and a purpose. And so with this passion and purpose, because he birthed this into me. People were like, why you go, why you do this, why you do that? Because I got to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts no more. I do what I do because I gotta do it. And it's brought us even to this point. But the point, what I'm saying is, when knowing thyself, when I take these assessments, and I got a whole list, I call it my scorecard of my personal assessments. I know what strengths I have. I'm like, yep. I know what my weaknesses are. I'm like, yep. Don't no man have to tell me nothing about me. Nothing. If any man has something to say to me that I'm probably gonna listen to, it'll be my father. Outside of that, I'm good. I'm good. If I need to know something from somebody, I'll ask them. The reality of it is I do these assessments for myself. The more I know about me, the more I can direct myself. Oh, that's my weak point. I'm gonna work to bring that up. But I look at my strengths. My strengths, I took you ever heard of high performance indicator test? You ever took one of those? I like this particular test. It gives you a set score on 6 different points. Some of the points that I scored low on, I'm like, I get that. I get that. The points that I score high on, clarity, courage. I'm like, word. That gives me more validation to what I'm saying and what I'm seeing and what I'm doing. I got all the confirmation I need to do what I'm doing, especially this year. And that confirmation I don't get, from this or from that. I do get from my elders, from my father, from my mentors. They confirm my direction of what I'm doing. But here's the reality. I was 42 years old when God broke through by the word of me. 42 years old. So for 42 years, I was going along, you get a job, you go, you show up, and you be the good worker, you know what I'm saying? You be the good, you toe the line, and you climb the ladder, and you be the good guy. And for 42 years, and then I got fired. First time in my adult life, I got fired. Why did I get fired? I got fired for no just cause. That was the reason. There was no reason why I got fired. Literally, no just cause. In Indiana, you don't have to have a reason to get fired. I knew that before then. I was the guy that was doing the firing. I was doing the hiring and doing the firing. So I already knew that. So when it came down to that, I'm like, you're not a good fit. I'm like, I feel that. But I had never been fired though. So I walked out of there. I'm getting another job. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. No job. I ain't never been unemployed in my adult life. Since James was born. That was the last time I went a few weeks without a job. And that was horrible. You know, and so since then, I've never ever been unemployed. And here I am, unemployed. Let me see, my fifth grandchild, Katie, was born. My fifth grandchild was born, and God put it on my heart, I ain't got no legacy. Wow. I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no legacy for my grandchildren. I ain't got nothing. I mean, if something happened, I got nothing for them. You know, and then he birthed Food by the Word into me. September 14th, 2016, he birthed Food by the Word into me. And I started down this path. I started doing things I'd never done before. I started journaling, put my thoughts down. How am I going to attack this thing? How am I going to do this thing? How am I going to, you know, like Master P said, make a list. You know what I'm saying? Make a list. I made a whole lot of lists. Made a whole lot of lists. But this path of knowing thyself, I can't express that enough because the biggest opportunity. This is why I waited to do this last, y'all. Because the importance and reality, we've heard a lot of great presentations today. All of them have been awesome, and I thank you guys for them because they've all been value added. And the reality of it is to culminate. I know that we need to culminate on the fact that we have to, no matter where we are right now, we have to not only know ourselves, but we have to, we keep talking about how do we fit. Everybody needs to know that they need to learn who they are. You know, because now these young ones, but she knows who she is. You know, what we gotta do is make sure, you know, or even if it's age, but you know, we gotta make sure that they have environments to be exactly who they are and that they get to stay that way. You know what I'm saying? That they get to grow and thrive that way. Because we didn't get to, because the world came in and said, no, little boy, no, little girl, you don't get to do that. Sit down, shut up. You know, we got to make sure that we have environments for them so that they can be exactly who they are. Because we have to go back to what God created for us to be, you know, in order for us to go forward to what He's got for us. And that's what we're doing. We're having to, beaten up and shaken and turned to the twist just to be what He created. Because here's the reality. I can just see God sitting up there. Like, and you know, we all got children. You know, you look at your I know I raised you better than that. Right. You know, I know I did not purpose you for that. You know, I don't know where you got that from. Yeah. But you didn't get that from me. Yeah. You know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, okay. A lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you. The conviction I feel a lot of times, you know, I get mad at somebody, be like, I can't. I'm like, and look, God's like, now you know how I feel. That's true. Yeah. You right, because I was, on that, I was, you right. You know thyself though. The more you know yourself, the more you know you can't do it without God. You gotta glorify Him in every single thing that you do. But here's the reality. Not just in word, but in deed. We have to actually seek God's face in order to know ourselves. We have to seek His face. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you said, fasting and prayer. That's real. This kind of comes through fasting and prayer. Here's the thing. 2021 started off and something interesting happened this year. I didn't hear a whole lot of people this year talking about, I'm fasting for 40 days. I don't even think I heard it from nobody. Right. Usually I'm hearing it from everywhere. Yeah. But it's ceremonial at best because I started learning some things about myself. See, I've changed my diet over the years. I used to drink, I used to smoke, quit that. Okay, cool, quit that. We eat pork, okay, quit that. Yeah, quit that, yeah. A few years go by, I'm still unhealthy. When I quit smoking, I started eating treats, you know what I'm saying? So I started, gave up the cake, gave up the refined sugar, okay, I quit that. I'm still struggling physically, you know what I'm saying? I quit this, I can quit all of these things, but I'm still not improving because it's not about just, because you quit the bad stuff, sure. But what are you going to do? How are you going to, you can only take away so much, in this world. You can only take away so much before you find yourself, unhappy. What did he ask earlier? Are you happy? I'm happy most of the time because now I'm in a place where I know me so well that it's taking me to different places where we at now. It's taking me to places that I wouldn't have been in the first place. He's showing and demonstrating things to me because I'm knowing more about who I am. I'm quit trying to, fit in things. You don't, and one of the hardest things that I go through on a day-to-day basis is I've always wanted to fit in. I've always wanted to fit in. I've always wanted to go to the party. I've always wanted to be in the mix, you know what I'm saying? For those of you who have known me a long time, he's always on the fringe, like what Tito say. He's always been on the edge, you know what I'm saying? He's always walked on the edge of the group. That's, but knowing why I always did that now, because God has set me apart for a purpose. It sounds fun, it sounds cute, but it don't feel good. It don't feel good. But knowing that gives me peace. Knowing that turns me back to Him, and then I feel that joy well back up. Knowing that, what He's got for me to do requires for me to do a lot of it by myself. And I wouldn't have chose that. I wouldn't have chose that, but I know that it's important because the heavy lifting that He's got for me to do requires, I cut a lot of wood this winter. Cut a lot of wood to burn and heat the house and so forth. I cut thousands of pounds of wood. You know what I'm saying? I showed my nephew what I was, having to do. A lot of wood. And I thank God for it every bit of it. Every bit of it. When we got the snow that we got, where I live at, we got the snow. Whatever y'all got here, we got that, and we got two of those. Yeah. In one. And I had to, physically dig out of that with a shovel that's not made for snow. Anyway, but I'm thanking God all the way because the reality of it is where He's taking me to, requires for me to be a certain level of, like the word says, gird up thy loins like a man after a man. Now He said that. He said it to Job. Now, so I hold men to a whole higher standard. I'm gonna be honest with you. He said that to Job. Even after Job went through everything. He told Job to gird up his loins like a man. That hit me. That hit me a few years ago. I'm like, I got that. Because here's the thing. Go throughout the whole Bible. How often in the Bible does it say that God spoke?
That God what?
That God spoke. He spoke to Job out of the world. He didn't come down and say something. He said an angel. You know what I'm saying? Jesus was speaking. But how many times God spoke? He spoke a few times about the Bible, but when God speaks, God spoke. He didn't say the angel spoke to Job. He said God spoke to Job out of the whirlwind. And he had to tell him twice. Here's the thing. We got a lot of getting up to do. We got a lot to get done. And I hold myself at a higher standard, so therefore I hold those around me at a higher standard. That's just a fact. There's no more, I ain't got to this, I ain't got to that, no, I'm good. Here's the reality. I'm not no superhero dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a regular man. By the grace of God, I gotta do what I gotta do, but best believe what you're not gonna do is come to be crying about what you're not gonna do. First and foremost, are you seeking God's face? Are you doing what He told you to do? What are we doing here? Are you walking in the purpose that He created you for? If you're not doing the basics, where you at in the Word? Well, I ain't really read. I ain't had no time. Guess what? He drives 4 hours a day back and forth to work. I drive 4 hours a day back and forth to work. You know what I'm saying? When I get there, I'm there for 10, 12, 11, 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? The reality of it is I'm not concerned about, what you ain't doing, what you can't do. This ain't even that. When you work with my father, you didn't even get to complain. I'm serious. If you work with my father, you didn't get to complain. It's 9 degrees outside today. The sun is out, stand in front of you. Real conversation. At 28 calories. The real conversation. You didn't get to complain. But here's the thing, as men, we got to get back to a whole lot of things. And as women, I can't tell. Here's the thing, we got to stop holding women to family standards. And that's just a real conversation. I'm really, not vibing with that no more. I'm glad y'all strong women. I love that. It's awesome. Been around strong women my whole life. But here's the reality. Y'all be in the strongest places y'all don't have to be in. As a man, I can't tell you to pick up that edge of the couch for me. I love if you can pick it up, cool, great. But guess what? If I got you picking up the edge of the couch every time I touch the edge of the couch, you know what I'm saying? I need a help me, not a help mate. You know, and God has purposed us for a reason. You know, so I speak to that. As women, you know, we got some makeup to do, so I don't know, you know, I don't speak a whole lot on, like I was telling my son the other day. I don't do women's hair. I'm not gonna do your hair. It ain't gonna happen, that's my wife. I'm not touching your hair, you know, that you get your hair done. I'm not touching it, and I'm gonna tell you it's free. I learned a long time ago. That's not for me. I'm not touching your hair because, you know, I'm raised by women. Like, I used to get joked, don't pick up my purse out, don't put my purse on the floor. I mean, just no. You know, I'm like, so the reality of it is, you know, I applaud how strong that you guys are and how you had to become. But as a man, I take that personally. Like, I can't keep allowing that to be okay. When I was a younger man, I'm like, shit, y'all better take care of yourself. Y'all better do you know, that's the approach we were raised in. Like, ain't nothing like a strong woman. Well, I'm glad you take care of yourself, you know.
But why weren't we raised like that? So you really have to I know we concentrate on this letter a lot.
Yes.
You really have to take it back to the Willie Lynch letter.
Yes.
And really understand what they teach and what they taught. Mm-hmm. And how they raised the slaves' minds and what they did to us as being a slave. Mm-hmm. So it goes back generations and generations on top of generations. And so it's not a thing that we want to be a man. No, we don't want to be.
No, it's not that you want to be a man at all. You know, as a man though, I can't hold you to a manly standard, and nor should I.
But it comes from the very beginning. It comes way back then.
It's amazing too on a person, because I know the guy that I date now, he gets irritated with things that I do, and he's like, just because you know how to do it, don't mean you have to. Like, what am I here for? It's like, for instance, I'm a night person. I stay up late, and me and my daughter, I was like, come move this furniture around, right? Like, a lot of times I want stuff done when I want it done. And I didn't like mean it. He felt like it was disrespect. He's like, you could have woke me up. I'm like, okay, so the next time I want to move the refrigerator at 1:30 in the morning, I'll wake you up then. You know, I don't want you to feel some kind of way. But if I take the trash out, he's big on the car door open, like, don't touch that door. You know, it just depends also how the person is brought up. You know, because it irritates him to death that I do a lot of the things, you know, that he, like you said, I'm the man. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't ever want to take that from a man, you know. I want the man to be the man. And then it's hard though when you're so independent. Because I come from a background of strong women. When I say from my great grandmother to my grandmother all the way down to my mom, it's like a generation thing, like, because we all can hold our own, you know. But I understand it. Like, it was something I had to get adjusted to. So I understand where you're coming from on that.
What's happened is, and I mean, I can take it back further, you know, to get a little bit more, because I love the word. I mean, you know, it goes all the way back to Adam, and that's where the ball got dropped. I mean, we've been making that for ever since. I mean, we ain't got it right since. I mean, that's just the truth.
Right.
That's just the truth. So I mean, we gotta, you know, but that's how my conversation is, because as the more I've learned about myself, the more I know the importance of, you know, the things that my father taught me. My father, you know, I look back and I'm like, my father didn't tell me, he tell me. My father told me quite a bit. He told me quite a bit. He told me quite a bit about being a man. And, you know, the world told me a whole nother thing, and so I went with that. You know, the world told me a whole nother thing, so I went with that. So I went ahead and tried that out for about 20-something years. You know what I'm saying? Before I figured out, you know, I need to listen to my daddy. My daddy told me something that was really interesting to me. He said, you know, you came out the womb like this. You know, talking about my personality. Now, when somebody can speak to you from birth about you, that hits different. You know, my sister, she told me something. She used to always say to me, you know, I love you more when we depart. She said, I love you more. She said, I love you more. I said, why you always say you love me more? How's not no competition? She said, I said, why you always say that? She said, because I knew you first. Because she was here first. She loved me in the womb. I'm like, whoa, okay, you got me. So when she say I love you more, it hits different.
Yeah.
You know, it hits different. I'm like, right, yay. You know, I mean, it's real because you love me longer. And I'm like, that hits different. That hits different. But that showed me a different perspective, even in our relationship, even in how I view myself. You know thyself. You know, the more you get to know about yourself, the more you start unlocking your superpower. But I'm going to leave on this note. You know, last year we lost Kobe. We lost Kobe Bryant. And the thing is, I learned more about Kobe after he passed than I did before. You know, even though before then he was just a famous basketball player. But after that, you know, I'm hearing all these things, and I listened to a lot of different interviews. The one interview that stuck out to me the most was Ice Cube. And he said the thing about Kobe was Kobe at an early age mastered Kobe. At an early age, he mastered Kobe. You know, everybody was like, he was the greatest, he's the Mamba, you know, and Ice Cube summed it up, you know what I'm saying? He mastered himself at an early age. Just think to yourself, now, if you would have mastered you at 8 years old, you know what I'm saying? You know, where for show be now?
Man, I'll be on everything.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be obedient. You know what I mean? Real talk.
I think you can look
I mean, if Verdina, you know, mastered herself, you know what I'm saying, when she was 12 years old, you know, you know, what's that even look like, you know? And I have to, you know, I say these things because, you know, I listen to like Robert Kiyosaki. You know, Robert Kiyosaki, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, everybody's like, yeah, it's great. You know, but here's the thing about Robert Kiyosaki that I don't know if everybody kind of missed. You know, he started focusing on making money, learning how to make money when he was 9 years old. He started getting taught by a mentor at 9 years old. Think about that. At 9 years old, you're thinking about how to make money. He went to his father and said, you know, I want to know how to make money. He said, well, how to make money. So he went out and, you know, tried to actually make money. You know what I'm saying? Him and his friend put together a plan and make money. You know, and his father was like, no, you can't make it like that. It's counterfeit. You can't do it like that. But the fact of the matter is master himself. You know, so know thyself. You know, so I'm going to kind of lean on that note. Anybody have any questions? About Fooled by the Word and how mastering yourself and, you know.
How did you get your website started?
How did I get my website?
Who started to get your own website?
Great question. I did. First thing I did, September 14, 2016, was I started to develop my own website. I went and I knew, you know, okay, I got a computer, I got internet. In fact, it was this computer right here. Got internet. I said, I'm gonna go to one of these sites. I'm gonna start developing my website. I started there. It's gone through thousands of iterations. I'm constantly updating.
Who do you live?
With Wix. I use Wix. And
I've created websites on Wix before, but this time I couldn't do it.
well, the thing about it is, you know, you have to make it into, it has to become almost a hobby. You have to, you know, really get down into it. And that's why, you know, with Montgomery 2020 Business Development Services, I even offer this product to help, you know, create and develop, you know, dynamic websites. Because the reality of it is, I know a lot of people struggle with websites. Me, myself, you know, I love it. I mean, you know, my website is for the long time was a store.
What was the love part you was about to say?
Well,
I
I love the process of I love the process of updating it and keeping it current. It's you know, the reality of it is it's the storefront that most people will see. You know what I'm saying? For whatever it is that you're doing. You know, it's the storefront to whatever it is that you're doing. You know, if anybody ever wants to find out about me, I had to push myself to a point, stop telling people about Fooled by the Word and say go to foolbydtheword.com and then you talk.
Yeah.
You know, go to foodbytheword.com.
Yeah.
You know, check that out. Then we can have some conversations because everything you need to know about Food by the Word is right there. You know, the reality of this is consistent, it's constant, and it's constantly updated. You know, it's grown. You know, it moves, it flows. I mean, I've made it to the point where it's a lot easier to use, but the thing about it is 4.5 years. 4.5 years. You know, from where it was to where it is now. Plus the platform itself, though, has gotten better. You know, it's more user friendly, but here's the thing, it's expanded to the point now where it's a lot for somebody who's never done it. You know, and it's like, you know, you gotta get really used to it because here's the thing, building it on here is a lot different than watching it on there. You gotta, you know, build it for the laptop, you gotta build it for the cell phone. A lot of times, you know, you go in here, you make it, oh, that's pretty, that's perfect. That's looking good, it's like I wanted it. Cool, great. Somebody pulls up on their phone, I can't see nothing. It's just this one picture, you know what I'm saying? Or what have you. It's not functional because you build it for one, you know, when you build it for one platform, but not multi-platforms. And so, you know, these are things that you gotta focus on. Exactly. Hopefully that helps it, you know, answer a little bit.
Yeah.
Right on. Any other questions?
I have a I didn't know you built your own.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't.
Yep.
I got a lot of work to do.
I can't do it. Yeah, I mean, that's
It's too much work.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
It's
Like
much
for
work.
me, but it's different for different people because, like I said, especially in business, like on my podcast, I got a producer, and my whole like get up and I listen. I pay you to do all that.
Yeah.
All I want to do is get on. I just need you to tell me show up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just want to talk.
Yeah.
Well, I talk to death. As far as all that other stuff,
I'll give you a little insight to the Montgomery 2320 business development side, because that's what that's for. Is to help, because, you know, I have over 135 deep dives. You know what I'm saying? That's deep dives I go down with, you know what I'm saying? We'll take an hour and we'll just deep dive this one thing to give you some perspective. You do with it what you want to do with it. This gives you an intelligent conversation. When you go to that guy, you be like, think this here, you know, I spent this hour, you know, so I got a little bit more insight on what I need you to be doing. You see, here's the thing, we're at a point now where it's not just enough to pass off something to somebody else that you can. We can all order from Amazon every day, but here's the thing, you know, once you get addicted to ordering from Amazon, Amazon says we ain't bringing that, you just stuck. You know, I can't even get this from nowhere, I don't even know where they even made this at, because, you know, this is a very easy thing to get into, especially nowadays because we're in the convenience culture. So Montgomery 2320 Business Development Services is for you to get to be more in tune with certain aspects of your business to your liking. You use them how you want to use them. You know, I got 13 different products and 135 deep dives. You know, even with the creative, the dynamic creative website, that's 15 deep dives. That's 15 hours, you know, not all at once, you know, 15 hours, 1 hour each, you know, we're gonna do a deep dive, we're gonna drill down in this specific thing. I mean, this is okay. I don't sit here and try to just, you know, make up nothing every time, okay, now it's you. You know, I mean, it's gonna be patterned to you know, but it's gonna be specifically formatted. And these things are, and everything that I know for a fact, that's where these deep dives came from. I didn't even look at the book, what's some good stuff that, you know, charge somebody for. No, this is proven, you know, this is proven track record. I'll take all my years of experience, you know, plus if I go anywhere else, the years of experience I got from my father, but I mean, I got a lot of years in, you know, operations and, you know, facility management and, you know, just so many different things, you know, P&L reconciliation, just whatever. All the products that I offer, you know, with Montgomery 2320 Business Development Services are all things I'm a professional at. You know, I'm not interested in getting out of my lane. As I learn things, I add them. You know, but if I can't be professional with it, I don't mess with it. So everything that I provide is provided at a professional level.
So where do you get your product? Like I was in there, where do you get your product from?
Oh, for like work?
Yeah, where do you get that from?
I deal with a couple of different distributors. You know, one distributor, glad you asked that. One distributor I've been dealing with for 4.5 years on Euro USA. They're based out of Chicago and out of Cincinnati. And that's where I get, you know, majority of my premium products from and everything. I mean, they've been awesome, you know, to helping me to develop. Not every place would help somebody who's not making any money. Not every place would mess with the little guy. You know what I'm saying? But them, that's where I get my premium products from. You know, and we have developed a relationship that I'm gonna cultivate forever, because the reality of it is they are somebody who's been with me when nobody else was with me. Everybody else is like, give me a bunch of money, then we'll bring you something. You know, or we don't give you no time, we don't even like you. You know, shut up, don't talk to me. You know, but these reputable, entities, you know what I'm saying? Plus, local, distribution places I deal with. I only deal with the reputable ones. That's why, sustainable product. And if I can't get some, I tell you I can't get some. The reality of it is all my products are quality, sustainable products. But my product line has changed over the years. As my product line changes, I alter it and adjust it as needed. Take away some things, add some things. I'm constantly, back to the website, I'm constantly adjusting my website accordingly. Because like I tell anybody, whatever I'm providing today, I don't become beholden to the product. I'm beholden to the process. This is food by the word. The culture of food by the word is more important than the product. The product's going to change. But the products that I'm going to offer are going to be dynamic every time. Every product that I'm going to offer is going to be top notch. I'm not offering little fake non-verified foods. I've been in the food business a long time. certified. You know how it is when we dealing with food, we can't afford to mess up with food. I've dealt with a lot of food over a lot of years, and I know how to handle food, and I know I'm only going to serve the best. So, hopefully that gets a little bit up. Yeah.
So you said you started a food truck? Okay.
Well, we don't.
The reason why I said it, I was thinking about what you said is.
So do you have e-commerce on your website?
Yeah.
Okay, so people can order directly from your website. And
That's where you order from. That's where you order from. That's the conduit. When you order from Food by the Word, you order through the website. You don't order through James. You order through the website.
You order from the website. So your inventory, do they order from wherever you get it or from you?
No, when you order through the Food by the Word website, it comes to me, and then now this is where I get my orders in, and then that's when the man parts come in and move around, and I deal with them, and then they bring it to me, and so forth and so on. And I mean, this is a constant moving process. It's pretty interesting. But I reduce the friction. I reduce the friction for you. Because, and I'm gonna tell you, that's why I have 5 to 7 business days for delivery. And I set up and I let you know when you'll be getting your product.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm trying to get to. But I'm not gonna get not all the time, because I have to still get people like the inquiries for like weddings. And
Right.
But like the simple stuff that I make that they can go, that's what I want them to do, is go to the website.
Mm-hmm.
But me putting that, because I had it up, and I had done it in 2017.
Right.
So it needs to be updated, And I'm like over it, driving me nuts.
Right.
I just don't have time.
Right.
So I'm all the shit. Because see, mine was through GoDaddy, and I think I can cancel it. I don't know how to go out. I think I can probably cancel it. I paid for a year. I don't remember. I'm just trying to get on there and deal with it.
Right. We're up there deal with me,
Yeah, because I don't know how to do this stuff. I don't understand too much.
Because that's true, because I'm not trying to.
It's a lot. When I say it's a lot.
Trying to deliver something.
And I want it to look right. You can stretch yourself.
What I'm saying is like you have product in your home. Like I said, I think that is the best option for you to use that, and then because that's what I'm building now. I'm building like three personalities in one person. So you'll be able to get the award-winning podcast. You better get the Dime, the experience where you better fill out an application on my site, and then I'll be able to do it that way.
Yeah.
And then you'll get the red if you need a motivational. Then so it's like Yeah, because the one thing I don't want to do, like you said, which makes a lot of sense. I thank you for saying that, too. It ties you. I don't have time to be. I need 3 shirts for you from this, and I'm like, no, just go to the website. Yeah, go to the website, order, and then my days, like my Fridays is my days. Don't tell me the day, or they would be shipped out on Fridays. That's about 4 to 5 days to get there. Shipping handles over $10.33. That's what I said.
It's in there.
Imagine somebody order something from Amazon saying, you know, hey Jeff, man, I don't think this thing ain't working.
Right.
Well, first of all, if you can call Jeff Bezos on the phone, you're in a whole nother conversation. Secondly, you handle Amazon how you handle Amazon. If there's issues, you handle it through Amazon. Nobody ever, man, I went down to Amazon yesterday because they just wasn't getting my stuff on time. So I went ahead and went on down there. No, we don't do that. The reality of it is, and you know, I listen to Jeff Bezos. You know, he built this machine based upon a technology that already existed. You know, use the technology that's already there and grow your thing. I mean, that's just. I mean, the internet is the conduit of the world now, and all these conveniences that we appreciate. If we're starting our own business, that's a non-starter on where you know the website is a non-starter. That's number one. That's if you have a business and don't have a website, I'm gonna have to say, do you have a business? I'm gonna have to say it. I mean, I just have to say it. Do you have a business in 2021? Do you have a business or do you have a hobby? There's a difference. Yeah. You know, because if you have a business, you know, because when Montgomery 2320 Business Development Services, I kind of speak a little different. Yeah. You know, it's not a food by the word conversation. Now, we can have a food by the word conversation. That's different. But Montgomery 2320, it's, you know, I'm kind of cutting through the, you know, through the minutia. You know, if it hits you in your neck, it's supposed to because it's your business. You know, if you're taking your business light, I'm not going to take your business light. I said earlier, you know, I mean, I take things literally. I'm not going to take your business light. So if you take your business light, you might not want to talk to me because I'm not going to take your business light. Right. You know, and nor should you. You know, so a website is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, I can't get back on it.
Well, because then too is the World Wide Web. If you're not limited to yourself to local.
That's
Because
it.
you have somebody from California that wants whatever you do, that we find out, especially in the car business, like you got Carvana, or everybody's starting to deliver cars now. Because what everybody is doing is everybody is on the web, so they're just trying to figure out. Okay, I want to, you know, even though we in social media, we actually anti-social. We're the most anti-social social media people ever in the world. So what we do is on social media to get something, like what you offer. Somebody can say, you know what, just for convenience, I'll pick up. Instead of going to my guy that's down.
Here's the thing though, nobody knows you're there. And here's the thing, in 2021, you have a website. If you go on Facebook every day and just do nothing but post your website and walk away, do that 4 or 5 times a day. Just walk away every day. Just walk away. If that's your whole marketing strategy and you do that every day, first and foremost, those who know you will be like, I keep seeing you on there. That begins the conversation. You know, that begins the conversation. Like I put things on social media. I know people see them. You know, I'm a hawk. You know, I don't. There's a reason I don't trip off the no likes and comments because if I did, I learned years ago. Actually, part of my business plan, part of my marketing strategy began 4.5 years ago, building a social media footprint, and I knew that, you know, one thing I did know about me was, you know, I probably wasn't gonna get a whole lot of likes, but that's okay because the reality of it is you're gonna see it. Right. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna hear my message. You're gonna hear my message. The first few years, you know, the hardest thing I had to deal with developing my business the first few years were people saying the words food by the word.
I have problems with that. Food on the network.
Food by the word. But here's the thing. You must have done your homework because when the first time you talked to me about it, you spit it out right. Yeah. So you must have been practicing. You know. But the first year and a half, first 2 years, food of the word, you got food and some word, food, and food and work, you know, work food, you know, work for food, I work for food. I mean, everybody was stumped. I mean, closest to
What is
you
food
know,
by the word? That's what people ask me all the time.
What is
food by the word?
Go foodbytheword.com.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easiest thing on the food by the word. That's why I even built it for people to spread the word of mouth, because explaining food by the word puts you in a position that you ain't ready for. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna push you